Thank you. Mr. Speaker, at this time, I'm pleased to yield 4 minutes to the gentleman from Texas.
Gentleman from Texas is
Dr.
recognized for 4 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for yielding and ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of the rule, although unenthusiastically. I am not too excited about this process, and certainly I am not very excited about this proposal to amend the Constitution. Because from my viewpoint, I see it as very unnecessary and very dangerous. And I want to make a few points along those lines. It has been inferred too often by those who promote this amendment that those who oppose it are less patriotic. And I think that's unfair. And an earlier statement was made by the gentleman from Florida that everybody here is patriotic and nobody's patriotism should be challenged. It has also been said that if you don't support this amendment to the flag, that you're disloyal to the military, and that can't possibly be true. I've served 5 years in the military, and I don't feel less respectful to the military because I have a different interpretation on how we should handle the flag. But nevertheless, I think what we're doing here is very serious business, because it deals with more than just the flag. First off, I think what we're trying to achieve through an amendment to the Constitution is to impose values on people, to teach people patriotism in their definition of what patriotism is. But you can't force values on people. You can't say there will be a law that you will do such and such because it's disrespectful if you don't, and therefore we are going to make sure that you have these values that we want to teach. Values in a free society are done voluntarily, not through coercion, and certainly not by the law, because the law implies that there are guns, and that means the federal government and others will have to enforce these laws. But here we are amending the Constitution for a non-crisis. I mean, how many cases have we seen? I've seen it on television a few times in the last year, but it was done on foreign soil by foreigners who have become angry at us over our policies. But I don't see that many Americans in the streets burning up flags. There were probably a lot more earlier in previous decades. But in recent years, it averages out about eight cases a year, and they're not all that horrendous. It involves more vandalism, teenagers taking flags and desecrating the flag and maybe burning it, and there are laws against that. I mean, this is all unnecessary. There are already laws against it. There are all these state laws that says they can't do it, and they can be prosecuted. So this is overkill. Matter of fact, the Supreme Court has helped to create this. I know a lot of people depend on the Supreme Court to protect us. But in many ways, I think the Supreme Court has hurt us. So I agree with those who are promoting this amendment that the Supreme Court overreacted. Because I think the states should have much more prerogatives. And they do, and they have these laws. And I believe that if we would have a court that would allow more solutions to occur at the state level, they would be imperfect, no doubt. There would not be perfect protection of liberty by state laws. But let me tell you, when we come here as politicians and super patriots and we pass amendments to the Constitution, that will be less than perfect too. And then it will be just like the Supreme Court. It's a ruling for everyone. And if you make a mistake, it affects everybody in every state. And that is what I'm afraid we're doing here. Now, the First Amendment has been brought up on several occasions, and I'm sure it will be mentioned much more in general debate. This amendment doesn't directly violate the First Amendment. But what it does, it gives the Congress the authority to write laws that violates the First Amendment, and that's where the trouble is.
Gentleman from Florida.